Hello and welcome to the first tutorial on FLearn. This tutorial is designed to help you get started in FL Studio 20 and get to know the layout, how everything works, and how all these elements work together. So right now, FL Studio works off a pattern system, meaning that the pattern I have here, which is just a beat, which you can hear here, that can be placed into the playlist, which is this. This is where your song is going to be made. So I place it here, and now it plays that. Now if I go and I create a second one, let's give it a different setup here. We'll go like this. And there we go. We have a new beat. What we can do now is delete these two. That's pattern 1. And now put in pattern 2 instead. So it will switch halfway through. And FL Studio is built entirely on this premise. So here in the pattern builder you also make instruments or pianos and such. All your sounds come from here, and they're all placed into here. Now that is just the pattern builder and the playlist. You also have your file browser over here. This is where you get audio files for such. Let's see. Yeah, you can get audio files here to add some cool effects. And but most of the important stuff is up here at the top. So you got your pattern to song switcher. When you play a song, it will play here. When you play here, it will play on the pattern you have selected, which is over here. And for beginner, most of this stuff is you don't need to touch it because it's not very relevant. It doesn't really do very much. The only one I would suggest using sometimes is the metronome. If you're making like an offbeat melody or something like that, then it's good to know where you're at. Yes. Okay. So yeah, here you can select your patterns, make a new pattern, rename your patterns, whatever you like, really. It's up to you. You can make it into the drums. Automatically makes a different color for them and everything. So this icon, this is for the playlist. That I already had it open, so I closed it. This is for the piano roll. Now this is where you make your melodies. For example, I will make a new pattern and add one of the basic plugins called FL Keys. And here, this is where you can make melodies. So let's just put in a very basic melody. Nothing too complex. This is just to get you started. And now I have FL Keys with these notes, and now because I have it selected up here, I can place it right in here, and now it plays with those. Now this one, the third one here, that one leads into the pattern builder, as you probably noticed me click it before. This here, this is another one of FL Studio's very important features. This is the mixer. So whenever you play something, the different elements show up here. For example, master. It already has a fruity limiter on it, which limits your audio from going over 0 decibels. And if if you want to get started quick on a project, it's good to disable it. Stuff sounds different without it most of the time if it's very loud, because FL or limiter will try to bring the sound down. But the most important feature about this is over here. Now let's see, each one of these is assigned to a mixer slot. The kick here, you can see, is assigned to insert 1. And just for reference, if you want to add something to it, you can either go like this. Slot 5 isn't taken, now it's part of slot 5. You can see now it plays here. So now the important part about this is if you want to add like an effect or something, you have all of these to choose from here. Let's say fruity filter. Now we can change different aspects of it. And let's say fruity reverb. Where is the reverb? There it is. And get a preset, set it to cathedral or something. Now it's got a bit of reverb on it, a bit of an echo. Now the rest of these you don't really need to know much about until later on. Let's see, there's this one up here, which is just a quick undo redo button. And then of course over here, I forgot about this is the BPM, the tempo, how fast your song is going. So my song was going right now at the default, which is 130. I forgot to unmute everything here. It's going at 130, but let's slow it down to 100. And of course then there's the record button. And usually if you want to record something, of course you need to have a mic first. But you can also record sounds in FL Studio. Now you see, if you're in the playlist, you can hold right click to select a certain segment and it will just play that segment. And if you want to record that, let me turn off the metronome. You can go to your master on the mixer, and then go to slot 1, or any slot you like really. Then you find the Edison. This is what most of your recordings go into, and if you're recording anything, usually it's a good idea to load it into this. So now I click record, I click play up here, and we'll play, it will record that. Then I can stop that, click this button over here, which will automatically insert the sound as an audio file into FL Studio, into the playlist. And we can do a few things with this audio file. So let's go down here. So this is a good time to introduce these little buttons up here. This one is your how sticky, like magnified each element is. So you see, if I put it to none, it will just slide around and it won't really follow the beat properly unless you're extremely precise. Now let's put it to a bar. Now we'll move a bar at a time. Not very good for being specific, but personally I use step, which is pretty much perfect for everything that I need. But not in this case. We would need to go to 1/4, and we're going to cut this till it gets to there, because we're going to create this So it's kind of like an uplifter that builds into the song, and then the song starts. Alright, so this is the draw button. It's just mainly used for placing notes around. And then there's the paint one, which is the one you should be using here. That paint is where you can just place audio files like very fast, and that is the one you should almost always be using. Then of course delete. I'm not gonna do that, but you just click on it and it deletes. And then you can just mute certain things. However, you can also do that by quickly right clicking twice and then hovering over anything. You can unmute by doing that again. And slip, which is here, you can use for moving. It's one I don't use very often because I don't have much of a use for it. Slice is a very useful one. You can cut up audio files in any way you like. Let's just undo that. Yeah, you see that button. If you want to undo something further, that's when you go to your current project up here, history, and you find the last action that you intentionally did. There we go. Now it's back to normal. Now this one is very useful. You can use it to select certain parts of your song and then move them around as you see fit. Magnify, of course, you can look closer at whatever you need. And if you want to zoom out again, you do that over on the right side. You just go like this, and then of course you can use this thing at the top. And then of course there's a preview, like playback, where you can just click on a certain element just to hear what it sounds like in the moment. And then of course there's another play button, and this is where you can select your audio files. Whatever you click now, if you have the paint tool, that will be placed. Also, if you click, let's say up here on pattern 1, if you just click very quickly, we'll select that. If you scroll up, it will select that too. So we were going to use this. We are going to switch to step. We're going to double click it, and then we get some options here. Here we can mess with the pitch, we can mess with the volume, and there's a lot of things we can mess with here. But what we want to do is reverse it. So we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it a little bit more maybe, and then make it fit by zooming in and changing our magnetism here so it can fit. I guess it will have to be on none for it to fit properly. Yep, there we go. And now you can hear what that sounds like. It's a nice little effect. I would say that just about covers the basics of FL Studio. There's quite a lot more if you want to get to the full potential of FL Studio, but these are just the basics. This is just to get you familiar with the layout. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've learned something. Bye bye.